Welcome back, Nerd Squad, to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new here. Plus, comment down below if you've watched Avengers Endgame yet and what moment surprised you the most. If you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, we suggest you turn back now because this video will be filled with spoilers. I'm trying to do whatever it takes for you to avoid the movie being spoiled for you, so with that out of the way, let's jump into today's list of the top 10 things no one saw coming in Avengers Endgame. In at number 10, Morgan Stark. Although briefly mentioned in Avengers Infinity War, many fans upon watching the trailers leading up to Avengers Endgame never expected Tony to make it back to Earth, let alone have time for a child. A lot of theories were proposing that when they time traveled, the squad would end up in alternate timelines, one of which being where Tony finds out that he could have had a daughter. Many were not expecting that after the Avengers kill Thanos the first time, they would jump 5 years into the future where Tony and Pepper have been living out their retirement, raising their daughter Morgan Stark. In at number 9, Loki escapes. Even though he was the main antagonist for the first Avengers film, Loki became a crowd favorite with many mourning his death in Infinity War. There was a huge reaction from the crowd when the Avengers time jumped back to the events in New York where the God of Mischief is running amok. What no one saw coming was after Loki was captured by S.H.I.E.L.D., the Hulk then busted through the door, giving Loki the perfect moment of distraction to escape. According to a press release this year by Disney, Loki will be getting his own series, so this really needed to happen for any of that to make sense, but still seeing him escape was a surprise. In at number 8, ASGARDIANS of the Galaxy. In the final moments of the movie after Thor passes over New Asgard to Valkyrie, we don't really know what the future holds for the God of Thunder. However, we quickly see that he's made an all-new career choice by teaming up with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We first saw them team up involuntarily when Thor crashed into their ship's front window, but to see him gravitate to the team after the fact was much more surprising. As a throwaway joke line, Thor refers to the team as the Guardians of the Galaxy, which brings the leadership role into question, causing a very funny back and forth between Thor and Peter Quill. It's also a subtle Easter egg for the real comic book team called as Guardians of the Galaxy. In at number 7, Grandpa Steve. We all knew that Chris Evans was looking to retire from the MCU and that Endgame could spell many different fates for his character as a result. When Captain America has to deliver the time stones to their original timeline to restore balance, he shocked the fans and the team by deciding to stay back. He returns to the 1940s to live out his life with Peggy Carter, which for a moment makes you feel so nice you almost forgot that it was the end. In at number 6, Professor Hulk. Throughout the course of the MCU, we've seen a lot of growth from Bruce Banner and the Hulk. He goes from this out-of-control monster that can come out at the slightest sign of Bruce being angry to now this controlled mix of both brains and brawn. It's one of the more shocking things we see in this film as Professor Hulk explains his new ability to navigate in the Hulk's body but have control over his mind and ability to speak clearly. As strong as Professor Hulk is though, the absolute rage and lack of control that the original Hulk possessed showed that he was much more destructive. In at number 5, Thor's dad bod. This was one of those moments that many of us were surprised by and just didn't know what to do with. I'm sure it was meant to give representation to all the dads out there in the audience taking their kids to see this, but man, was it ever something that we didn't see coming. Typically we know Thor to be the most jacked of all of the superheroes, but after losing his family and killing Thanos, he goes into a hilarious downward spiral. There's comments even thrown around by his own mother where she says maybe you should eat a salad, with Tony even mentioning that he looks like the Big Lebowski. Needless to say, it's a fresh change from the Thor that we're used to, and as he travels with the Guardians of the Galaxy, it will add a fresh new look to his character. And at number 4, Captain Sam. In the comic books, both Sam Wilson and Bucky have taken on the mantle of Captain America, so when it came down to Sam, Bucky, and Cap waiting around the time machine to send Cap back, many fans were on the edge of their seats. Most people assumed that he would either return successful or pass the shield to his old pal Bucky. What no one saw coming was Grandpa Steve sitting on a bench next to Sam as he passed the shield to him instead, making Falcon our new Captain America. In at number 3, Worth It. As we saw in Avengers Age of Ultron, Captain America was able to budge Thor's hammer just a little bit, but let it down after realizing that he couldn't, giving Thor a moment to just relax. However, during the events of Endgame, Steve picks it up and swings the hammer with ease, so what changed? Well, in the comics he was able to lift the hammer twice, and as Odin said upon creating the hammer, it can be lifted by those who are worthy. So perhaps in the Age of Ultron movie, Cap just wasn't worthy yet. A fan theory suggests this is due to him withholding information about the death of Tony's parents to protect Bucky. When he owns up to his mistakes in Civil War, this restores his moral purity, making him worthy to lift the hammer, causing the audience to lose their minds collectively. In at number 2, Black Widow's death. Alright. This one hurt. I guarantee that no one saw Ronan and Black Widow being the ones who would have to go to Vormir, the home of the Soul Stone. I hope it also says that on their welcoming sign too. When the audience finds out that our favorite heroes are now faced with the soul for a soul dilemma, we really didn't think that Black Widow would be the one to go. There's a lot of quick brainstorming for alternatives before it turns into an all-out race to jump off the mountain. For a moment it looks as though Ronan will fall to his death, but Black Widow pulls a quick one and ends up being the hero who is sacrificed. It's surprising, it's shocking, and it shed a few tears in theaters around the world. Lastly, in our number 1 spot, no end credits. Perhaps the biggest thing that no one saw coming was the lack of post-credit teasers. I've seen some videos from theaters of people recording the screen waiting for that teaser sequence as a Huawei ad plays instead, resulting in a very vocal groan from the audience. Although in most theaters we simply heard a sharp tone of metal hitting metal, similar to the time that Tony Stark was working on his first Iron Man suit. But then, nothing. I suppose it's smart because it truly signifies that this is the end, even if we waited right until that last moment in hopes that we'd catch some more. And that has been the top 10 things that no one saw coming in Avengers Endgame. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, show us some love by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, leave us your thoughts on this list in the comments down below. And don't forget to give us a follow on Instagram at Top10NerdOfficial for tons of behind the scenes content. And if you want more videos like this one, all you have to do is click that playlist on your screen. From Top 10 Nerd, I'm Johnny Rogers. Until next time, take care.